sich nur als Imposanz.
Good morning, Asia. Good evening, America. You're watching WION World is One. This is World DNA. I'm Kripa.
I'm Samiksha Srivastava, packed lined up on World DNA. Russia and Ukraine continue to trade fire as missile and drone attacks escalate. In the latest, Kiev says that the strikes carried out by the Russian forces killed and wounded civilians again. We'll get you the latest on that front on the show today.
Also on the show today, hope of a deal to reopen the Strait of Hormuz is driving oil prices lower. Washington says an agreement with Iran could be imminent, while Tehran rejects claims of direct talks. This as an Indian-flagged vessel has sunk in the Red Sea after coming under attack. We will bring you the latest on this and much more, but first a look at the headlines.
An armed man arrested at US President Donald Trump's Los Angeles golf course 2 days ahead of his planned California visit. Authorities say he was taking photographs, filming the grounds, and appeared to be monitoring security arrangements as well.
India condemns unprovoked attack on an Indian-flagged commercial ship that sank in the Red Sea. Yemen's Coast Guard rescues all crew members. Yemeni government blames Iran-backed Houthi rebels for the attack.
US Treasury Secretary says a deal with Iran to reopen Strait of Hormuz could be reached today or tomorrow, boosting hopes of increased oil shipments and lowering prices as Trump warns Iran of consequences without agreement.
Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu says Israel will not withdraw from Gaza until Hamas fully disarms, casting uncertainty over a proposed Trump-backed deal and highlighting tensions between Israel and the US.
Russian missile and drone strikes in Kiev killed one woman and wounded at least 12. Damaging residential buildings and warehouses, several victims hospitalized as Ukraine reports another deadly Russian attack on capital city.
French and British authorities rescue 173 migrants after their channel crossing boat catches fire, forcing passengers into the water. Several sustained minor injuries, but no deaths or serious injuries reported in large-scale rescue.
United States revokes Brazil ambassador's visa amid a diplomatic dispute over Washington's nominee for ambassador to Brasilia. Brazil condemns the move, calling it an escalation, while US says reversal was possible.
Hundreds of residents near Guatemala's Fuego volcano evacuated after a major eruption sends lava flows and ash plumes into the sky. Authorities issued the highest alert as emergency teams move villagers to safety.
SpaceX reports a strong first earnings performance as a public company, with quarterly revenue surging 92%, fueled by rapid growth in its Starlink satellite internet business. The firm is targeting a $100 billion annual revenue run rate by year-end. Our top focus this hour: an Indian-flagged vessel has sunk in the Red Sea after coming under attack by an explosive-laden boat off Yemen's western coast.
All 14 crew members have been rescued so far, and the vessel, which is named MSV Faiz Noor-e-Aulia, capsizes and sank after it was struck by a projectile about 30 nautical miles south of Al Hudaydah.
All crew members, including 13 Indians and one Yemeni national, were rescued by Yemen's coast guards and brought to port of Mokha. Yemen's internationally recognized government blamed the Iran-backed Houthi rebels for the attack.
Now, India has strongly condemned the unprovoked strike on a defenseless ship and reiterated that assaults on commercial ships in the region must end. Union Minister Sarbanand Sonowal said that he has directed the Directorate General of Maritime Administration to ensure the safety of Indian seafarers operating in the region.
India's Ministry of External Affairs said the attack was deeply condemnable and noted that the Indian Embassy in Riyadh is closely monitoring the situation and coordinating with the Yemeni authorities to ensure the safety of the rescued crew.
Well, India is one of the largest contributors of sailors to merchant shipping worldwide, with more than 320,000 active seafarers in 2025, and the incident marks the first such attack on an Indian vessel in the Red Sea of Yemen. This is an area far from the Strait of Hormuz, but long plagued by threats that have been linked to the Houthis.
The Red Sea corridor, which is a vital artery for global trade between Asia and Europe via the Suez Canal, has grown increasingly concerned for commercial shipping. Disruption there forces vessels onto the much longer route around the Cape of Good Hope, thereby driving up insurance premiums, voyage times, and even overall costs for operators and consumers alike.
A top US official says deal with Iran to reopen the Strait of Hormuz could be struck within days, sending oil prices tumbling on hopes of restored shipments through the vital waterway.
That's right, Kripa. In fact, adding to that, the claim follows reports of an emerging agreement that is between Iran and Oman on managing traffic route through the Strait of Hormuz. It was while speaking to CNBC that US Secretary Scott Bessent said, and I quote, "There is a chance that we may have a deal in the coming hours." He claims, his claims echoed President Donald Trump's. Iran has denied, however, the negotiations with Washington, even as Trump insisted that they were happening.
We've seen President Trump last week threatened what would have been one of the largest military campaigns, or the largest military campaign since World War II, against the Iranians. And now because of that, we are in talks with the Iranians. And I think there is a chance we may have a deal today or tomorrow to open the strait and move towards a more normalized position in this conflict.
Qatar, one of the key mediators, confirmed that diplomatic efforts are ongoing and draft proposals are circulating, but noted that no direct US-Iran talks are currently planned. According to the Qatari Foreign Ministry, the immediate priority is securing a short-term resolution to bring both sides back to the negotiating table.
Our focus right now is on avoiding escalation, reopening the strait, and reopening the door for diplomacy between the parties. What we do not want to see right now is a major escalation in our region, as the events were leading towards that direction.
Meanwhile, the New York Times, citing Iranian officials, has reported that a proposed deal with Oman would require ships entering the Persian Gulf to pay service fees, with revenues split equally between Tehran and Muscat. While details remain sparse on who is directly leading the negotiations, U.S. Secretary of State Marco Rubio confirmed that Washington is involved in the discussions to restore traffic through the Strait of Hormuz.
The Strait of Hormuz, that is a critical conduit for global oil and gas, remains the flashpoint of the current conflict, and Tehran is seeking to assert control over the passage, even impose transit tolls, a move that has fiercely been opposed by Washington. Maritime traffic through the choke point remains severely disrupted, with only 22 vessels reported transiting on August 3, half of which were operating dark without tracking data.
US facilitated talks between Israel and Lebanon are currently underway in Rome.
And Beirut is pushing for a phased Israeli withdrawal from southern Lebanon and implementation of a fragile US-backed trilateral framework agreement aimed at restoring stability along the border. This week's negotiations mark the seventh round of US-mediated talks between Israel and Lebanon, bringing together technical teams from both sides for 3 days of discussions. The talks are being held at the US Embassy in Rome and are scheduled to continue through Thursday.
The dialogue is part of United States' ongoing efforts to preserve a fragile border truce backed by Hezbollah entered the regional conflict by launching rocket attacks on Israel.
The discussions are focused on a phased withdrawal of Israeli forces from southern Lebanon, the deployment of the Lebanese army, and the disarmament of Hezbollah. The talks also address the expansion of pilot zones, revolving and resolving outstanding border disputes,
as well as laying the groundwork for a broader peace and security arrangement between the two sides. Lebanon has been demanding a full Israeli withdrawal, while United States says it remains committed to supporting both governments in implementing the agreed framework.
Meanwhile, Hezbollah has rejected the negotiations, with leader Naim Qassem accusing Lebanon's leadership of making concessions. In a televised address, Qassem said direct talks with Israel would bring Lebanon shame, humiliation, and successive compromises. He also criticized President Joseph Aoun, saying he had failed to act as a unifying figure and has become biased and divisive. Lebanese Prime Minister Nawaf Salam pushed back, accusing those who drew Lebanon into conflict of undermining the country's sovereignty as well as their interests. It was another deadly night in Kyiv. At least one was killed, 12 others wounded in Russian attack in the Ukrainian capital.
In fact, explosions were heard in the city, that is, moments after the country's air force warned of incoming ballistic missiles. Kiev's military administration said that the barrage damaged residential buildings and several warehouses as well. In fact, just a few hours earlier, Russian strikes hit the eastern city of Kramatorsk that triggered a massive fire in 14-story residential building and injured at least 24 people.
Amid the latest wave of strikes, as we just saw, the latest wave of strikes and the devastation that came after. Now, Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky has shared a video on social media that he says shows a Russian drone deliberately targeting a civilian. The footage appears to show a street vendor trying to escape as a drone pursues him. As you can see, he darts around a white van in an attempt to take cover, but the UAV continues to track his movements. And moments later, the drone swoops down and detonates on impact in what Zelensky has described as an instance of Russian safari attacks against civilians.
Parallelly, Kiev has also stepped up its long-range strikes inside Russia, targeting critical infrastructure, including oil and gas facilities, as well as logistics network. 5 people were killed and 10 others wounded in the Moscow region on Tuesday in strikes that triggered massive devastation, and this as depots were targeted of the Russia's e-commerce giant Wildberries.
US-led talks to end the war have been effectively frozen since February, remember, when the US and Israel launched joint strikes on Iran, and which eventually led to a widespread West Asia war. And US Secretary of State Marco Rubio recently hinted that Washington would seek to restart negotiations in the coming weeks.
On Tuesday, Russia kept a condition for talks for Ukraine. Speaking to Russian news agency TASS, Deputy Foreign Minister Mikhail Galuzin said that Moscow is open to negotiations on Ukraine if Western countries show a constructive approach. He also alleged that Ukraine withdrew from and blocked previous talks. Last week's migrant surge into Spain's North African enclave of Ceuta began with just a few people. But within
days, Samiksha, it turned into a massive rush with tens of thousands of migrants swimming across the border from Morocco. Officials now say misinformation on social media played a major role.
Well, according to Spanish authorities, more than 70,000 people entered Ceuta. The crossing turned deadly as more than 80 people died, either by drowning or in a stampede. The wave began after Spain's Supreme Court issued a ruling on migrants intercepted at sea. False claims quickly spread online that suggested that anyone who reached Ceuta could stay in Spain and would not be sent back. Those claims were not true.
Never believe those who tell you that if you get into Ceuta, they will send you back. You will not be sent back. Those at sea are not sent back. So that you know, those at sea are not being returned. They take them to Ceuta, where a procedure applies to see if they can be returned or they can stay. So those who can find a way to try, have to try.
At the same time, viral videos showed smiling migrants arriving safely in Ceuta and being taken to reception centers. Some clips were shared by news outlets, while others were posted on social media and even went viral. Many migrants said those videos encouraged them to make the dangerous journey.
¿Cuándo habéis entrado? Ahora, hoy.
Monin Bilaj, a dog groomer with 31,000 Instagram followers, said he decided to make the journey after seeing reports about migrants being housed at Ceuta's reception center.
Spanish and Moroccan officials say human trafficking networks even exploited the online misinformation to encourage more people to cross. The crisis has once again raised concerns over border security, migrant safety, and the growing impact of social media on migration. An armed man has been arrested outside US President Donald Trump's golf course in Los Angeles.
Well, the suspect was apprehended after he appeared to monitor security preparations at the property 2 days ahead of Trump's fundraiser event in California.
Now, according to the Los Angeles County Sheriff's Department, 38-year-old suspect was caught taking photos and videos of the property with a 16-round magazine in his pocket, while another pistol along with an additional loaded magazine containing hollow point ammunition was recovered from his car. Local media reports suggested that police searched his home in a nearby city of Downey and found a plethora of firearms, magazines and ammunition and body armor. The police also allegedly found notebooks with concerning statements.
A similar report by CNN cited sources that suggested there was no indication whatsoever that the person was plotting an attack on President Trump, although it added that the Secret Service was conducting a joint investigation with FBI's Joint Terror Task Force to assess whether the person posed a threat. The report went on to say that the suspect is also under investigation in a robbery case. The Los Angeles County District Attorney's Office is now set to decide whether to file charges after investigators presented the case on Tuesday morning.
Meanwhile, Trump arrived by helicopter at the golf club located in the suburbs, and this is south of Los Angeles, for a fundraising dinner for the Republican National Committee. The two-day West Coast trip is aimed at boosting party coffers and outlining key economic themes ahead of the midterm elections. The US president has also been targeted in multiple assassination attempts since his 2024 campaign.
Chaotic scenes unfolded at New York's Brooklyn Bridge after a 44-year-old man climbed the iconic structure
and even stripped it naked and jumped into the East River using a makeshift parachute. He survived and was eventually rescued by police and later arrested. Take a look.
Todo lo que está pasando, graba los policías que van caminando. Tanto tengo que llegar hasta allá arriba. Con la maleta, ¿sí ves? No.
Three spectacular sky events, one single day, and the internet is already talking about the end of the world. That is August 12th.
Well, mark that date on your calendar, as it will bring a rare cosmic lineup that has already sparked wild doomsday theories online. But some claim that it is a warning, others call it the universe's biggest show of the year. But what is it that is really going to happen? We tell you in this next report.
A trinity of cosmic events on August 12th is being seen by many as an ominous warning to the world. Scientists say there is no link between these cosmic events and there is no reason to fear. They simply happen to fall on the same date. Even so, the combination of the spectacular cosmic events converging within hours of one another promises breathtaking views across different parts of the world. The first event is a total solar eclipse. The moon will pass directly between the Earth and the Sun, briefly turning day into darkness along a narrow path. The eclipse will be visible across parts of Greenland, Iceland, Spain, and Portugal. Western Iceland and northern Spain are expected to offer some of the best views, with the westernmost points of Iceland expected to experience the longest spell of darkness. People across parts of Europe, the United States, Eastern Canada, Northwest Africa can also see a partial eclipse. Once the night falls, the Perseid meteor shower will take over the sky. According to NASA, it is considered the best meteor shower of the year. Swift and bright meteors frequently leave long trails of light and color behind them as they streak through Earth's atmosphere. Under dark and clear conditions, viewers could spot up to 100 meteors every hour. The shower peaks overnight from August 12th into August 13th, with the best viewing expected between late night and dawn across the world. The best time to view the Perseid meteor shower in India is expected to be between 2 a.m. and 4:30 a.m. on the pre-dawn mornings of August 12th and August 13th, and before sunrise, another treat awaits of a six-planet parade. Mercury, Jupiter, Mars, Saturn, Uranus and Neptune will appear stretched across the sky in a rare planetary parade. Mars and Saturn should be easy to spot with the naked eye. Mercury and Jupiter will stay low on the eastern horizon. Binoculars will help reveal Uranus, while Neptune will require a telescope. Across much of the northern hemisphere, the ideal viewing window is expected to be between 30 to 60 minutes before sunrise. while the best time to watch the six-planet alignment in India on August 12th is between 5 to 5:30 a.m., roughly 45 to 90 minutes before sunrise. Some netizens have linked the triple event to apocalyptic predictions, but astronomers and scientists say there is no scientific evidence behind those claims. It is simply a remarkable cosmic coincidence.
Well, we're slipping into a short break at the moment, but we'll return with more news and updates on the other side. You're watching World DNA. Stay tuned.
WION, India's global voice, the channel that brings you the biggest stories from across the world through India's lens. Now available in more than 190 countries worldwide. Because we believe that the world is one. Watch us in Africa, Europe, USA and Canada, South America, Asia Pacific, Middle East and North African regions. Also available on these digital platforms across the world. WION, World is One.
In this rapidly changing world, is your health keeping pace? Best practices and breakthroughs busting the hype with real insights. The timeless power of yoga and ancient healing. Good food, good mood. Small steps, big impact. Your health matters. Only on WION World is One. Because nothing matters more.
In-depth coverage of global issues broken down into facts, figures, and simple words. Backed with analysis from field experts who truly matter. Because we believe in decoding the real picture for you. So you get a much wider and deeper understanding of stories from around the world. A 360-degree analysis. An award-winning documentary series, week after week creating the maximum impact. Watch WION Wide Angle at these times on WION World is One.
From the bustling trading floors of Wall Street to the vibrant exchanges of Asian stock markets, WION breaks it down for you to make sense of what's happening. As we reveal the key factors behind events, strategic battles, and the game-changing business decisions that shape the world. We bring you all of this and more on World Business Watch.
Know more, understand better, think ahead. Hello and a very warm welcome. You are watching Gravitas with me, Molly Gambhir. Get the facts, not the bombast. On the 26th of March, dynamic pricing, Baloch separatists, Gravitas cuts out the clutter. Gravitas keeps calm when others scream. Gravitas brings news to life. Weekdays, 9 p.m. IST, 3:30 p.m. GMT. Gravitas. Seeing is believing.
The Israeli drone is above our heads all the time in Lebanon. More than 200,000 civilian homes have been destroyed. This looks like it used to be a toy for a little girl. Can't but wonder while I'm walking between all of this rubble, how many lives were destroyed, how many kids were traumatized, how many women lost their families. If this isn't a war crime, then what is? From the southern suburb of Beirut, I'm Radi Francis for WION World is One.
Get the latest updates. Breaking news. Credible, clear, continuous. Experts across aisles. Diverse voices, one platform. WION World is one.
Welcome back. This is World DNA. I'm Samiksha Srivastava. With me is Kripa. Let's begin with the headlines.
Meta executives to meet Ministry of Electronics and Information Technology officials today after a video posted by Prime Minister Modi was temporarily removed from Facebook. Government seeks explanations over the 5-hour takedown.
Thirteen Indian seafarers rescued after an Indian-flagged vessel sinks off Yemen. Following an attack, India condemns the incident and calls for an end to targeting commercial shipping. Yemen's government blames Iran-backed Houthi rebels for the attack.
Reports claim US has nearly all its stockpile of long-range precision missiles during Iran war. It has been finished, including ATACMS and precision strike missiles. Officials warn of dwindling interceptor supplies and challenges in replacing weapons.
Qatar says mediators are making progress to end US-Iran war. While Tehran denies talks have begun, Trump and Qatar's emir discuss diplomacy as oil prices plunge on hopes of a possible settlement.
Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu says Israel will not withdraw from Gaza until Hamas fully disarms, casting uncertainty over a proposed Trump-backed deal and highlighting tensions between Israel and the US.
Russian missile and drone strikes on Kiev kill one woman and wound at least 12 others, damaging residential buildings and warehouses. Several victims hospitalized as Ukraine reports another deadly Russian attack on capital.
North Korea's Kim Yo-jong warns Pyongyang would take additional military options after Japan test fires a US-made Tomahawk missile. She accuses Tokyo of building offensive military capabilities and expanding overseas operations.
Hundreds of residents near Guatemala's Fuego volcano erupted after a major eruption evacuated after a major eruption that sent lava flows and ash plumes into the sky. Authorities issued the highest alert as emergency teams move villagers to safety.
Asian markets opened higher on Wednesday, led by South Korea's Kospi with gains of more than 4%. Japan and Australia also advanced, with Australian shares hitting record highs as mining stocks rallied. Pakistan's army sits on top of the country's power structure. Under the cloak of democracy, army chief is the one who calls the shots.
Well, locally they call it a hybrid regime where parties in power may change, but army remains the kingmaker. This also makes military patronage a must-have for political survival in Islamabad.
The same pattern, it appears to be repeating once again as Shehbaz Sharif's government is facing a serious charge from his own Interior Minister, Mohsin Naqvi, who claims to have unearthed a scam of massive proportions. He says Pakistan's system of governance has completely collapsed and is no longer capable of addressing political and economic challenges.
I don't think there has ever been such a massive scam in the history of Pakistan, where judges, bureaucrats, politicians and bankers were all involved. For 21 years, bribes were paid and people kept taking it. We will go after each and every person responsible.
The pitch for political reset coming from Mohsin Naqvi is a worrisome sign for Prime Minister Shehbaz Sharif. Naqvi is close to Pakistan's military establishment and enjoys strong military patronage that stems directly from Asim Munir.
Now, just a year after Asim Munir's appointment as army chief, he was made caretaker chief minister of Punjab. While holding that position, he was appointed as chairman of the Pakistan Cricket Board. In just few years, he transitioned from a media mogul to the interior minister of Pakistan.
Well, he is often touted as a central bridge between the civilian setup and military establishment. Naqvi, openly alleging corruption and mismanagement, has raised speculations on Shehbaz Sharif's future as Prime Minister of Pakistan.
Silence from within the government makes it apparent that Rana Sanaullah, Special Assistant to Prime Minister on Political Affairs, has even openly said that Nawaz Sharif has instructed everyone not to respond to Mohsin Naqvi.
Meanwhile, the key alliance partner is openly threatening to pull out the support. Pakistan's People Party is keeping the Shehbaz Sharif government afloat, but the alliance now seems to be approaching a breaking point.
PPP chairman Bilawal Bhutto Zardari has issued a warning. He said the countdown has begun for PMLN alleging fraud in Pakistan-occupied elections. He vowed to lead a people's rights movement across the country.
Well, according to People's Party leader Sharmila Farooqi, alliance with PMLN is very challenging after the openly rigged POK elections. Referring to Mohsin Naqvi, she said, "Your most powerful leader is telling everyone that the system has failed."
Well, Pakistan has a long history of prime ministers not being able to complete their full 5-year term, with Imran Khan serving as the latest example. So the question remains, is Munir already laying groundwork for Shehbaz's ouster while using Pakistan People's Party and close aide Mohsin Naqvi?
Tamil Nadu opposition leader Udayanidhi Stalin, who was detained over a complaint that alleged misogynist remarks apparently aimed at actor Trisha, has hit out at TVK-led state government.
He said the case against him was a deliberate attempt to divert attention from the government's failures. He was released from police custody on Tuesday night. These are the visuals of his release after hours of questioning by Tamil Nadu police.
Our chief minister is a dummy chief minister. I just spoke on demands of the farmers. I spoke nothing other than farmers' issue. They have doctored my speech and taken it out of context.
DMK President and former Chief Minister M.K. Stalin has come out in Udayanidhi's support. In a statement, MK Stalin termed Udaynidhi's arrest as TVK's bid to deflect attention from ongoing Kaveri water dispute with Karnataka. Stalin accused Vijay's government of attempting to intimidate Udaynidhi by filing various charges against him.
The detention came a day after a controversy erupted during DMK's protest in Thanjavur. During his speech, Udaynidhi was interrupted by chants of Trisha as he criticized Chief Minister Vijay. As the chants continued, he paused and made a remark which has been widely interpreted as inappropriate, misogynistic, and a double-meaning reference to the actress.
A high-voltage political drama ensued as the police detained Udaynidhi Stalin from his residence. The arrest followed an FIR against Udaynidhi over the alleged derogatory remarks. 9 charges, including insulting a woman's modesty, were invoked against the DMK leader. Additionally, Section 4 of Tamil Nadu Prohibition of Harassment of Women Act, as well as Section 67 of the IT Act, were invoked.
The TVK has also written to the National Commission for Women seeking action against Udaynidhi, calling the remarks deeply troubling. The TVK said the language normalizes the objectification and verbal harassment of women in public spaces.
Over the past couple of weeks, DMK has increasingly cornered Vijay over the Kaveri water dispute, from accusing him of betraying the state's farmers to not doing enough to safeguard the state's interests. The criticism was turning increasingly personal. But with Udaynidhi dragging actor Trisha into the debate, the political battle seems to have crossed a red line altogether.
Shifting our focus to Japan now, the country has unveiled its latest defense white paper, and it sends a strong message to both its citizens and its neighbors.
Well, adding to that, Kripa, Tokyo is presenting its biggest military build-up since World War II, not just as a security necessity, but as a very path to future prosperity. The document also underscores how relations with China have entered a far more confrontational phase.
Now, Japan is changing the way it talks about military power. Its new defense white paper argues that defense spending is not only about protecting the country, but also about supporting economic growth, technology innovation, startups, and industrial development. The shift is strikingly symbolized by the report's anime-style glossy cover, which features a smiling family in a futuristic cityscape instead of soldiers and weapons.
Defense Minister Shinjiro Koizumi says that the goal is to help the public understand how security is linked to the future of every citizen. But behind the softer imagery lies a much tougher strategic message.
The nearly 600-page document identifies China as Japan's greatest strategic challenge, citing Beijing's expanding military activities around Japan, the Western Pacific, and the Taiwan Strait. Tokyo says Chinese aircraft carriers have operated deep in the Western Pacific. Chinese warplanes have repeatedly approached Japanese aircraft.
The paper also highlights growing concerns over China's intensified military buildup around Taiwan, including the possibility of gray zone operations such as blockade involving Chinese Coast Guard vessels.
That language comes right after Prime Minister Sanae Takaichi angered Beijing by saying Japan could deploy its self-defense forces if a Chinese attack or blockade of Taiwan threatened Japan's survival. China condemned those remarks as egregious, and relations between Tokyo and Beijing have remained in a deep freeze.
At the same time, Japan has been rapidly expanding its military capabilities. Defense-related spending has now reportedly reached 2% of GDP, with much of the money going towards long-range missiles that are capable of striking targets inspired by lessons from the war in Ukraine.
Tokyo even insists it remains committed to an exclusively defense-oriented policy and continues to uphold its long-standing 3 non-nuclear principles. Yet, Koizumi has also suggested that debate over Japan's nuclear posture is something the country cannot avoid.
And while the white paper speaks of deterrence and future prosperity, its clearest signal is unmistakable that Tokyo now sees a more assertive China not as a distant concern but as a central challenge that is shaping Japan's security, economy, and even foreign policy. All right, shifting focus then. Once a year, Estonia's Sito community transforms a village into a symbolic kingdom to celebrate its distinct language.
They also celebrate traditions and folk culture. The festival features mock visas, a special currency, folk music, and the election of a community representative known as the Ulim Sutska. We leave you with these visuals. Let's get into the world of business now. SpaceX has delivered its first earnings report since becoming a publicly traded company, beating Wall Street expectations.
Well, the results show that the company is no longer just a rocket maker. It is increasingly becoming a satellite internet and artificial intel powerhouse as well. But while revenues have surged, investors are also watching out for one major concern, and that is the enormous cost of funding its AI ambitions.
Well, SpaceX reported recently that second quarter revenue of $7.8 billion, up from $4.1 billion a year ago, a jump of nearly 92%. The biggest driver was Starlink, the company's satellite internet business, which now accounts for more than half of the total revenue. Starlink has expanded to 12 million subscribers worldwide, although average revenue per user fell by 22% as the company rolled out lower-cost plans in more international markets.
The company is also betting heavily on artificial intelligence. Revenue from its AI division, which includes XAI, Grok, and AI data center operations, rose by 250%. With commercial customers including Anthropic, Google, and Reflection AI too.
SpaceX says that it expects to reach an annual revenue run rate of $100 billion by the end of this year and plans to launch at least 1,000 next-generation V3 Starlink satellites over the next 12 months while expanding into mobile phone connectivity. But that growth is coming at a steep price. Capital spending soared to $18 billion, with most of the money going into AI infrastructure and computing capacity. Investors are now questioning whether Starlink's profits can continue funding SpaceX's massive investments in artificial intelligence, next-generation rockets, as well as data centers.
Despite reporting stronger than expected results and narrowing losses, SpaceX shares fell about 7.5% after hours trading, highlighting investor concerns that spending remains exceptionally high even as the company delivers rapid growth. All right, from the world of tech then, the Trump administration is preparing new restrictions and that is on Chinese technology used inside US data centers.
This comes as Washington moves to protect the infrastructure powering the artificial intelligence boom. According to a Reuters report, the proposal would target key networking components that are used to connect AI servers over concerns that they could be used for espionage or even cyber attacks.
Well, adding to that, Kripa, according to the report, US Federal Communications Commission is drafting the rules to ban import of new models of Chinese optical transceivers.
These are critical components that transmit data through fiber optic cables, allowing information to move at high speeds between servers inside data centers. US officials are aiming to publish the measure this year, after which the restrictions would take effect.
The proposed ban is intended to prevent Chinese companies from gaining access to sensitive data, installing malware, or disrupting the operation of AI data centers. Officials say they want to avoid a repeat of the Huawei situation, where Chinese equipment became deeply embedded in US communication networks before national security concerns actually emerged in the whole scenario.
The proposal could affect Chinese firm Zhongxi Inolite, one of the world's largest suppliers of optical transceivers. The company was added to a US Defense Department list of alleged Chinese military-linked companies earlier this year.
China has criticized the planned restrictions while urging the US to stop targeting Chinese companies. China has warned that it will take necessary measures if its interests are harmed.
The baton for the 2030 Commonwealth Games has been officially handed to India at the end of the Glasgow Games, and India is quite eager to bring two new disciplines to the global stage, that is yoga and kabaddi.
Well, after victory pulled out of the hosting of 2026 CWG 2026, the Commonwealth Games, it actually looked like the Games were heading towards untimely end. But after Glasgow, India is all preparing for the 2030 Games with as much vigor as possible.
The Games are to be hosted in Ahmedabad, and the city in Gujarat is already building up for what is seen as a major stepping stone in India's bid for the 2036 Olympics. The 2030 edition is going to be a full-fledged multi-sporting event, unlike Glasgow 2030, which was a scaled-down version with only 10 sports. 15 to 17 sports are likely to be included in the 2030 Games in Ahmedabad. Two of these disciplines could be yoga and kabaddi, as I mentioned earlier, both of which have been invented by India.
Yoga has always been considered a lifestyle choice more than a competitive discipline. And this is, however, with India's winning bid for 2030 Games, new doors have finally opened after India hosted the first ever World Yogasana Sports Championship. It has cleared the path to present yoga as an indigenous sport at the Commonwealth Games in 2030.
Meanwhile, kabaddi has been in the shadows for forever. It has been a medal even in Asian Games since 1990, with India winning the event 8 out of 9 times. And this will be a great opportunity for kabaddi to get more global recognition.
Well, Tom Holland and Zendaya's latest cinematic collaboration, Spider-Man Brand New Day, has surprised everyone with the kind of response it has already surpassed $1 billion across the globe.
Yes, Spider-Man Brand New Day, this movie managed to notch the milestone within just 6 days of release. Prior to this, only in 2019, the superhero film Avengers Endgame managed to capture and earn $1.2 billion worldwide in its opening weekend. Back then, it was fastest film to reach the coveted box office benchmark. This new film, Brand New Day, has earned $407 million already in North America after 4 days of release. The movie marks actor Holland's 4th solo outing as Spider-Man and 8th movie in the Marvel Cinematic Universe. Spider-Man Brand New Day has been defying box office expectations Since its debut on the last week of July, the movie earned $932 million globally on its opening weekend. Those ticket sales were the biggest North American debut in box office history, as well as the second largest global debut of all time. Marvel's latest venture is expected to cross the $2 billion mark as well in the coming days.
Spider-Man: A Brand New Day is the fourth movie of the year to earn $1 billion, following the Super Mario Galaxy movie, Michael, and Toy Story 5. Christopher Nolan's The Odyssey has grossed $912 million till now. It is expected to be the fifth release of 2026 to join the billion dollar club.
Well, those were some of the top stories unfolding at this hour. We'll return with further developments. But before we let you go, take a look at the top climate stories making headlines at this hour. Stay with us.
Israeli drone is above our heads all the time in Lebanon. More than 200,000 civilian homes have been destroyed. This looks like it used to be a toy for a little girl. Can't but wonder while I'm walking between all of this rubble, how many lives were destroyed, how many kids were traumatized, how many women lost their families. If this isn't a war crime, then what is? From the southern suburb of Beirut, I'm Radi Francis for WION The World is One.
WION, India's global voice, the channel that brings you the biggest stories from across the world through India's lens. Now available in more than 190 countries worldwide. Because we believe that the world is one. Watch us in Africa, Europe, USA and Canada, South America, Asia Pacific, Middle East and North African regions. Also available on these digital platforms across the world. WION, World is One.
In this rapidly changing world, is your health keeping pace? Best practices and breakthroughs busting the hype with real insights. The timeless power of yoga and ancient healing. Good food, good mood. Small steps, big impact. Your health matters. Only on WION World is One. Because nothing matters more.
The Israeli drone is above our heads all the time in Lebanon. More than 200,000 civilian homes have been destroyed. This looks like it used to be a toy for a little girl. Can't but wonder while I'm walking between all of this rubble, how many lives were destroyed, how many kids were traumatized, how many women lost their families. If this isn't a war crime, then what is? From the southern suburb of Beirut, I'm Radi Francis for WION The World is One.
vielleicht nur als Imposant.
Thanks for staying with us. You're watching WION World is One. I'm Adhya Juneja and this is Speed